Assalamualaikum. First of all, my name is Alia Syazwani binti BAKAR. I would like to present about our outline of article, which is we decided to choose the topic of the COVID-19's, the impact of COVID-19's on employment. Before we move further on the point, let's see the thesis statement of this article. The thesis statement for this article is actually the pandemic COVID-19 has caused the positive and negative impacts on employment and involve many sectors in Malaysia. So let's move for the first main point of this article. For the first main point is the COVID-19 has caused the domestic and multinational market contraction in the aquaculture sector. This is referring to the core Kaihu on supporting details of the first main point is the seafood products that are higher in price will be given in less attention than livestock and dairy foods that are much cheaper. Also, according to Core Kaihu 2020, the globalization in seafood guarantees food stability and leads to food security and the economic development of nation. Moreover, this pandemic consumer demand for seafood good has also collapsed. This is from International Trade Statistic 2020, and besides the Malaysia's seafood export sector was met with difficulties owing to the terminations of seafood export contracts and limited purchases from into Core Kaihu 2020. Also, the second main point is the drop of aquacultural supply chains. Why? This is because due to the decreased workforce, lowered demand, and difficulties in compliance with the necessary sanitary steps, aquacultural production has negatively affected because of the pandemic of COVID-19. In addition, it is aquaculture production also may be impeded by the decrease in the availability of animal feed due to logistic problems during this pandemic. So, moreover, the strict government regulations such as the establishment of screening facilities and the protective measures for employees, it may reduce the overall production and prohibit the continuation of activity most small scale factories. Last but not least, the transport lane blockage due to police roadblocks have also forced the arrival of the critical supplies to be postponed. For the tone or bias in the article, it is pessimistic. Why? Pessimistic is actually the worst bad impressions towards the article or towards the impact for the intended audience. The intended audience for this article is general public. As for the the purpose of this article is to inform the public about the potential impact of COVID-19 of aquacultural sector of nation. And last, the comments about the article is good for the readers because the evidence and the evidence from the scholars is well organized and well explained. So that's all from me. Thank you.
This article journal title is The Impact of COVID-19 on Tourism Industry. This article journal purpose is to inform the readers about the impacts of pandemic COVID-19 in economy. The impact of COVID-19 towards tourism industry is they are having loss because of cancellation of booking hotels room. During the 11 January until 16 March 2020, they are having loss approximate up to 68 million ringgit Malaysia. It is because almost 100,000 hotel room booking had been cancelled due to COVID-19 spreads. Kuala Lumpur was on the first list of having so much loss. The cancellation of hotel booking has caused a deficiency of nearly 23 million ringgit Malaysia in income, and followed by Sabah, which ended a deficiency of 11 million ringgit Malaysia. According to Lipemfu 2020, Sarawak was the least influenced by COVID-19 as the cancellation of hotel rooms was just 76 with loss of under RM23 million. Until the MCO ended, the expectation of cancellation to booking hotels will continue. The statistic of cancellation hotel room show the workers at the hotel in Kuala Lumpur have been the most infected terribly by the pandemic. There are also some of the workers had been forced to terminated. Also, there are some of them had been asked to take unpaid leave, and some workers also had to have their salaries cut. The next impact of the COVID-19 to tourism industry is the major airlines in Malaysia are at risk in having bankruptcy. According to the Lipemfu 2020, the three major airlines are AirAsia, Malindo Air, and Malaysia Airlines. These major airlines have started their workers' salary cut from range 10% to 100% and unpaid leave based on their wages and the position. These airlines have faced the most emergency situation as the government of Chinese have rejected the arrival of foreigners that come to the country started from 29 March 2020 until the further announcement. Furthermore, the Chinese authorities have imposed very strict rule on foreign airlines where they are just allowed to offer only one flight for every week, and those flights cannot be over 75% full because of they are big anxious of COVID-19 disease being brought into China. Therefore, the loss that three major airlines had, both in terms of income and profit, they have been made the request for the government of Malaysia to intervene and offered them help for the airlines industry. Furthermore, the tone of the authors in this article is objective because it is only given facts, while the intended audience of the article are general public. Also, the article should be written in more coherently as it can make readers easy to read and understand the topic.
Assalamualaikum, my name is NURUL binti HUSSIN. So, for the impact of COVID-19 towards the employment, the next point is the aviation industry faced difficulties in terms of its revenue and during the COVID-19. So, since COVID-19, Malaysia Airlines have examined that there is a decreased demand passenger to and from China. Next, Malindo Air have stated that there are around 20% passengers who cancelling their ticket flights due to the fear of flying. Furthermore, Malaysia Airlines has realized that they are in the miserable situation where they must ask their employee voluntarily take an unpaid leave. However, Malaysia Airlines still operates during this COVID-19, but in less than 50 flights a day due to the travel ban imposed globally, and it is to prevent the spreading of the virus. So the term for this article is objective, while the intended audience for this article is for general population. And the purpose of this article is to inform the readers about the impact of COVID-19 towards the tourism and hospitality in Malaysia. Comments for this article is, this article provides so many information and also statistics regarding the tourism sector and the impact of employee in hotel industry and also in aviation industry.
Okay, my name is NURUL binti SYUHADA. Okay, I will present about more employees were let off with unpaid leave and wage cuts in the hotel industry. According to the Star Malaysia, there are about 2,041 employees were fired and 9,733 employees were urged to take unpaid leave and 5,054 employees received pay cuts. There is a loss around 560.77 million revenue during the movement control order that have been estimated by the Malaysia Associations of Hotel. Malaysia Associations of Hotel also stated that local industry has experienced losses amount 75.69 million from January 22. Okay, in addition, there are 4 states which experience a great number of booking cancellation, which is Kuala Lumpur, which lost around RN 24.91 million, that have been followed by Sabah with a total loss around 11.79 million, and Selangor, which is a total loss is 9.05 million, and lastly is Penang millions, that have been followed by Sabah with a total loss around 11.79 million, and Selangor, which is a total loss is 9.05 million, and lastly is Penang, with the total loss of RM 8.69 million. So from that we can see there is a lot of effects from the movement control that made by with the total loss of RM 8.69 million. So from that we can see there is a lot of effects from the movement control that made by the government during COVID-19 pandemic. That's all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is HALIMATUS and ZAINAL ABIDIN. So basically today I would like to introduce 2 points from my article, which is on the impact of COVID-19 towards employment. Is the first one is the small and medium enterprise are going downhill. So basically small and medium industry, SME industry, a small company, basically there are small company that consists of small company that was generated by the citizen, the local citizen. So basically they are not a big company that are able to generate bigger income. So basically they depends on what they able to generate in that month to pay everything in the business. So basically like the employees salary, their bills, electricity bills and everything. So basically this caused them to be unable to generate those income as before the pandemic hits. So basically they have to think of a new platform to eventually do business with the with the customer. This is because of the MCO. Basically during the pandemic the MCO took place and people are unable to communicate with each other and they can't even do business, and eventually because of this the citizens are losing a lot of income, since many of them are being laid off from work, and eventually that hits the SME industry as well, since they couldn't generate as much and they can't even be able to pay what they are supposed to pay. Moving on to the second point of the impact of COVID-19 on employment is the economy of the nation is going downhill. So basically when we talk about the COVID-19, it's always about the movement control order. So basically the MCO took place during the hit of during the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic hit. So basically this COVID-19 pandemic causes a lot of tourism industry and many more industry in this country going downhill. So basically when we talk about industry that impact the government, that impact the nation, is in the tourism. The government are depending a lot on the tourism. So basically when the tourism industry are stuck and unable to generate enough income, it's gonna have a lot of impact on the nation and also on the employees who are mainly the citizens of the nation. So basically, as we all can see, during the MCO, during the movement control order, people are unable to go on vacation. They are unable to even go outside of their state and to even meet their family or relative. So basically, this eventually impact the tourism industry so bad that the industry itself have to lay off workers that are mainly the citizens. So basically, the nation majorly depends on the tourism industry. So basically, if the industry are unable to generate income, it's eventually causing the economy of the nation to go downhill, and this can cause bankruptcy in the long term. So eventually, COVID-19 is not a good thing, but the government have to come up with the solution in order to prevent the economic problems from happening, and eventually the long run effects will not hit Malaysia. That's all.